Hi everybody, Ezra Levant here doing the live stream today. I'm very excited. The reason I'm doing the live stream is because today is the 10th anniversary party for Rebel News. And so rebels from across the country, rebels assemble! They're all coming to Toronto. We're going to have a little party. We're inviting our most enthusiastic viewers to come hang out with us. In fact, it's not too late to come. I think there might be a few tickets left. In fact, I know there are. You can get that information at happybirthdayrebel.com because it is our 10th birthday. And it's hard to believe we've been doing it for 10 years, although whenever I look in the mirror and I see how little hair I have and what's left of it is white, it looks like 20 years has gone by, hasn't it? But I'm doing this because, of course, our dear friend Sheila Gunn-Reid, who is the mainstay of this live stream along with David Menzies. Sheila's on her way to town. So is Drea Humphrey. I just saw Alexa Lavoie pop into the studio. So it's like the Super Friends. It's like the Avengers. We're gathering and assembling. And for some folks, we're going to have a dinner together. And then the reception for folks, you can check it out at happybirthdayrebel.com. We did that in Calgary. Efren, do you have the video of the Calgary get-together? It was so much fun. Go ahead. If that's got some clips from the birthday, we don't need to see David, although he's a handsome man. I just want to show what it was a little bit like when we were in Calgary. We had the same thing we did out there, and it was a really wonderful feeling. Here, take a look at what it was like on the inside. Yeah, so just huge. We had some music. There's Tamara Leach in Calgary. We had food, we had drinks, we had a photo booth, and it was just a great time. Actually, I'm already nostalgic for our get together out there. There's Drea. So some of our talent gave some remarks, and no, it's just really, there's Tamara. It was a wonderful night at the Carriage House Hotel in Calgary. So if you want to join us tonight, if you're in the Greater Toronto area, there's me cutting the cake. You can go to happybirthdayrebel.com. So I'm always in a good mood when we have our team in from far away. Our friend Yankee Pollock is in from Florida. So it's nice to see Yankee. But let's talk about serious stuff for a bit. Hey, can I talk to you about ostriches? You know, I was joking this morning we should call ourselves the Ostrich News Network. But let me tell you, let me just speak very candidly. I do not find ostriches particularly attractive. I don't think they're particularly warm critters, but they are life. They are animals. And the way we treat animals, we don't treat animals kindly for their sake. We treat them kindly for our sake. Do you know what I mean by that? There's the 10 Commandments, but there's something in the Bible. Efron, have you ever heard of it? The 7 Laws of Noah. Have you ever heard that before? The Noahide Laws. The Noahide Laws are a moral code, according to Jewish tradition, that were given to Noah after the flood. So these are not Jewish laws. In fact, specifically, they apply to all people, not just the Jews. And I'll list them for you. Do not worship idols. Do not curse God. Do not murder. Do not commit adultery. Do not steal. I'll skip ahead. The 7th is establish courts of justice, but rule number 6, I can see it's in a slightly different order on the one you have there. Do not eat flesh torn from a living animal. I guess the numbering system of what you got on the screen there is slightly different. Why would, if you believe in the 7 laws of Noah, and like I say, they're pre-Jewish. This is the flood story. This is long before there was Judaism or Christianity or Islam. These were the very essential basic laws of civilization. So in the list you have on your screen here, do not eat a limb of a still living animal. Why would that be in the top 7? Like, this is a serious list. Don't worship idols, don't murder, don't commit adultery. That's sort of a weird one. Do not eat the limb of a still living animal. Because imagine how depraved you must be to do that. Yeah, it's cruel to the animal. Of course, it's absurdly painful and cruel to the animal. But it's not the animal that I think God has in mind there. It's you. Do not lower yourself that way. Do not be cruel that way. Take a moment. You can eat meat, but don't be cruel about it. Kill in a way that is not merciless. And I think, and later on, the Jews adopted 613 laws, and keeping kosher is one of them. And part of it is not to be cruel to animals. That's the theory. Because what kind of a man does that make you? And we know from horrific cases of children who grow up and commit atrocities to other people, torturing animals, cruelty to animals is a gateway, say modern criminologists, to being cruel to other people. You've heard of that, Ephron, right? And so I think that goes right back to the laws of Noah. Do not be cruel to animals. Don't take delight in being cruel to them, even if it's tasty, which is what the laws of Noah would suggest. So you don't have to love ostriches. You don't have to think they're pretty. You don't have to think they're cuddly. You don't have to think they're smart. They are not the most attractive of animals. I wouldn't want one as a pet. But if you treat an animal cruelty, you are actually showing your own heart. It's got nothing to do with the animal. Do not treat animals cruelty. That goes back before the 10 Commandments, the 7 laws of Noah. And so we have covered the case of the ostrich farm more than all other journalists combined, I believe, because there's a cruelty to animals. There's a stupidity in bureaucratic laws. There's the Kafkaesque rules involved. There's the bullying of federal bureaucrats. There's the outrageousness of having RCMP police act as bodyguards for health inspectors. There's the property rights at issue, property rights in the birds themselves, property rights of the farm. The government wants to kill 400 of these mighty birds because almost a year ago, some of them got sick with avian flu and recovered. So they've been fined for almost a year. But the government has a rule, if a bird gets sick, kill the entire flock. But the government, being so lethargic and slow and stupid, a year has gone by, they haven't killed the birds yet, but there's no need to because they're all healthy now. It's like they got the sniffles, it's like the birds got a cold, and now they're better. So imagine being a government that says, we don't care, don't trouble us with the facts. Now that lady in the black tank top there is one of the farmers. You can see how heartbroken she is because she loves these animals. By the way, I always find that farmers and ranchers love animals the most. Makes sense. In fact, she's given names to many of the animals. And that's a cop who has the unhappy duty of being a buffer. You see that police tape? That's her farm. She's not allowed to go on her farm to attend to her animals. And the CFIA, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, first of all, what is it even the Food Inspection Agency? These birds are not being raised for meat or for eggs. What are they even doing there? Anyways, the government wants to kill all the birds. And the government doesn't want you to see it. So they built these 10-foot high stacks of hay to sort of create an area within which they're going to kill these birds, hoping that people can't see. So there's a lot going on there. And as you can see, there were a lot of campers and people going there for solidarity. I went there a couple weeks ago. I only went for one day. Yeah, show that here. So I don't know if you can see that. You see those tall stacks of hay. They're trying to create an area. There's no medical or public health, or there's no logistical reason for those stacks of hay. It's so you can't see what they're doing. I took that picture when I was standing up on a hill. Can you find Chris Dacey's shot? So I was just using my iPhone, which has like a zoom of 6 times. And you can see it not bad there. But Chris Dacey, who's a citizen journalist from Ottawa, he's been out with the ostriches for a week or two now, and he's got a really good zoom on his camera. So he was standing probably where I was standing, and look at how much of a zoom he has. So you can see a lot going on there. You can see that the government has set up various barriers. You can see that there's some equipment there that looks like some lights. I don't know if Chris filmed it, but there's some anti-drone technology. And it looks like they're trying to train the ostriches to follow that truck. Like they're doing all sorts of weird things. They're not disclosing what they're doing. You can see that guy in the back of the pickup truck has a hazmat suit on, but what's so funny is there's a lot of vehicles there, aren't there? What's so funny is that the hazmat suit guys are not wearing masks. They're not wearing masks. The whole thing is for theater. Anyhow, so they are getting ready to massacre hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of birds. And they want to find a way to do so when the public can't see it. So they brought in a no-fly zone. They've got the police. Now, in a series of miracles, the courts have not yet permitted the cull because the farm has gone to the court and they're seeking leave to appeal to the Supreme Court. Now, that's a legal term, which means you can't just go to the Supreme Court and say, I want the 9 top judges in the country to hear my case, because there's just not enough hours in the day. So the Supreme Court uses its discretion to determine what cases are important enough that they will hear. Yeah, oh, that's a great shot. Can you show that? Look at that. That's that zoom from Chris Dacey. Just, you can see those barriers. They're creating a kill zone. We don't know exactly what they're doing because they're so secretive about it. But what great work from Chris to get that super high zoom. I tried to use a telescope, but my camera has like 2 lenses, and whenever I would put one in the lens of the telescope, it didn't work. So this is great work by Chris Dacey. Congratulations to him for this footage. Anyways, do you understand the lay of the land? The government wants to kill all these birds, even though they're healthy. The farmer says, we'll prove they're healthy, we'll pay for tests. The government says, if you test your own animals, we will fine you. It's insane. Private citizens like Brett Wilson have offered to pay for the tests. The government says, if you test, we will fine you. The farmer says, all these animals are healthy. The government says, we don't care. So it's a flashback to COVID stupidity, isn't it? Where the government had rules and you weren't allowed to question it. I think that some of the reaction to this is a delayed reaction to COVID, because people are saying, this is how stupid you were before. In fact, it's the flu. It's a coronavirus. So we're having the same stupidity again, and you're even dumber than you were last time. Yeah, who knows what some of those things are that Chris has spotted there. But that's very important journalism he's doing, because they banned drones and they set up sort of anti-drone guns or something. I don't know exactly what. So there's hundreds of people who have filed through. A bunch of people are staying in campers, trailers, staying in their cars even. There's some tents, including, I don't know if you know what I mean when I say the word a yurt. That's sort of a Mongolian sort of bigger tent. So some of the tents are quite nice. There's some lots of outdoor porta potties. I forget what outdoor toilets. There's a big communal kitchen. Like they're very well supplied, and lots of people are trying their best to help. Our friend Drea Humphrey has just been doing a great job out there. So it's becoming a bit of a political thing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the U.S. Secretary for Health and Human Services, has written 2 letters to the Canadian government saying, look, those ostriches actually are medically valuable, because we need to learn how they got better, how they got their herd immunity. We need to learn that. Don't kill these birds. They have medical value. And some people say, well, that's precisely why they're being killed. If we study and learn from these birds and how they got better without using mRNA vaccines, maybe Moderna and Pfizer won't be the winners, but public health will be. Let us learn from these birds. They perhaps contain within them a secret. And of course, the Canadian government has completely ignored. Oh, I read one of the letters. It was such a well-written letter, as you would expect from Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And it said, look, we'll help you with all sorts of resources, all sorts of scientific infrastructure. And if you don't even want to do it, we'll do it all. Like the letter from RFK couldn't have been friendlier. And the government of Canada doesn't care. Don't trouble me with the facts. I don't know if you can pump that up enough so I can read it and on air, but I think people can find it at Save the Ostriches. rebel.com. I would recommend you do that. I have read one of his letters online before. Anyhow, you know what's going on because you've been following the ostriches. Let me tell you what I saw yesterday on This Hour is 22 Minutes Twitter feed. As you know, This Hour is 22 Minutes is a government comedy show. Let me say those words together. A government comedy show where government comedians on the state broadcaster tell you government jokes, and there's a laugh track to remind you that these are funny jokes. And you pay for this. And Mark Critch, who is, I think, the longest standing member of this government comedy show, he is a partisan liberal activist. I think his wife was a liberal appointee or a liberal candidate or something. So they're not, like, this is not an insult when I say they're liberals. That's a description. It's an observation. And of course, the CBC hates truckers, hates any grassroots movements. And this is sort of an echo of the trucker convoy. Certainly how it felt when I went there. I really had a flashback to when I went to the trucker convoy in February 2022. It felt grassrootsy, it felt contrarian, it felt dissident. And the CBC was sent to destroy the truckers. Remember that moron who said, some people say Vladimir Putin organized the truckers. Yes, some people say you're a liar. Some people say there's no such thing as a government journalist. It's a contradiction in term. It's like a jumbo shrimp. Government journalist. Well, the only thing worse than a government journalist is a government comedian. So without further ado, let me show you, and we'll play it through once, and then I might come, it's a 2-minute clip. Let me state the obvious. None of these people have been out to the ostrich farm, and evidently none of them knows what they're talking about. Or maybe, and this is worse, maybe they know exactly what they're talking about and they're lying on purpose. The question is this misinformation, which is a fancy way of saying a mistake, or is this disinformation, which is a fancy way of saying they're lying to you on purpose? Given the fact that they are government comedians, I think they're liars. Here, take a look.
The Supreme Court has delayed a planned execution of nearly 400 ostriches in British Columbia after an avian flu outbreak. For more, I'm joined by ostrich farmer Elwood Coburn. Good evening.
Oh, hello. That's all right, girl. It's okay. Shh. That's okay. That's okay. Shh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your ostrich all right?
Oh, yeah, Bessie, she's all right. Just a bit scared because of all the media attention. That and a touch of bird flu.
Stop it for 1 sec. Stop the vid for 1 sec. Okay, so he said 2 lies already. Avian flu outbreak. Do you mean last year? Because there was an avian flu outbreak last year. I mentioned that. I said almost a year ago, a few of them got sick, but they got better. The way this government liar described it, it sounds like the avian flu outbreak was just a moment ago. And can you replay the last 15 seconds? I want to remember exactly what Mark Critch said. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Oh, hello. That's all right, girl. It's okay. Shh. That's okay. That's okay. Shh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is your ostrich all right?
Oh, yeah, Bessie, she's all right. Just a bit scared because of all the media attention. That and a touch of bird flu.
Perfect. Stop. A touch of bird flu. There is not one bird at the farm with bird flu. Mark Critch is a goddamn liar. He's a liar for cash. He knows what he's paid to do. This isn't particularly funny. I mean, yeah, the laugh track is supposed to be a psychological cue that you should laugh to. It's like when you see someone yawn, you have sort of a reflexive urge to yawn also. You ever notice that? That's the psychological nudge of a laugh track. I remember watching This Hour's 22 Minutes clip without the laugh track. Absolutely brutal, completely unfunny. But if you think that This Hour's 22 Minutes is about comedy, you misunderstand. It's about taking the liberal message track, giving it to some comedians, putting a laugh track behind it, and ta-da, no, it's not heavy-handed propaganda. It's comedy. It's really funny, you guys. You see, did you think it was funny how they said there was an avian flu outbreak, and then Mark Critch pretended that he was being attacked by a rabid and mad ostrich because apparently when birds get the bird flu, they attack their own farmers. Apparently, this know-nothing moron. But it's not just he's a know-nothing moron. I don't believe that because Mark Critch is not dumb. He's a propagandist. And there is no one who watched the first 30 seconds of this video who, if this was their only source of information, would say, oh, so the first guy told me there was an avian flu outbreak, and the second guy told me that this bird had bird flu. Pretty obvious that these are a bunch of kooks out there, and Mark Critch is doing his best to look, oh, I'm just a stupid person from the West. I vote conservative, and I like the truckers, and I'm so stupid that my own bird's attacking me. Mark Critch knows exactly what he's doing. It's not comedy. They put the laugh track underneath it. I mean, not a single person. This is the kind of comedy that maybe some liberals applaud after. You know, it's not when they're not laughing, when they're clapping, that's not comedy. That's a political sermon with a laugh track. Do you think a single person, that's really funny? Not a single one. But you think some government bureaucrat said, Mark Critch, you really did it again. Yeah, that's what they weren't laughing. They were clapping. Keep playing. You hear the laugh track?
Oh, yes, to be expected. Dude, that's a good girl. That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
I think that ostrich is sick.
Bessie?
Stop.
She's not sick. She's just an earth.
Stop. I think that ostrich is sick. You wicked liar. None of the ostriches are sick. There was an ostrich that was spooked by a police drone, ran and injured itself and died. So it is true that one of the ostriches died. Or, if you were to be legalistic about it, was killed by these government morons. So 3 times now, they have lied to you, haven't they? 3 times, and it's only been 35 seconds. That's 11 seconds per lie. And they're comedians, though. You know it because the laugh track is there. Keep playing.
She's just an arsehole.
The Canadian Food Inspection Agency says
he hates the bird. She's just an arsehole. And the bird hates him. Ha 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 ha. Except for that's the opposite of how it is on the ground. I met the farmer boss. She loves these animals. She's emotional about them. She's named them. But they're trying to recreate it in a manner that the birds are out of control. 3 times they've lied and told you they were sick. And the bird hates the man and the man hates the bird. You cannot hate the CBC enough. Keep playing.
ostriches need to be destroyed. They allege that you haven't been taking good care of the birds.
How dare they? What's this country coming to if a man can't keep to himself and raise 400 ostriches? I'm not going to stand by with my head in the sand to see if IA has these birds worried sick. Thanksgiving was just the other day, and these ostriches were so upset they barely touched their turkey.
Okay, but some famous American politicians have gotten involved. Robert Kennedy Jr. has asked for the birds to be studied, not killed. Dr. Oz offered to rehome the birds on his Florida ranch.
Florida? What do you think we are? Nuts? Bessie has bird flu, not mad cow disease.
Okay, but
Stop
the court
again,
orders...
stop. Was that the 4th or the 5th time this wicked liar said they had bird flu? It was a lie the first time he said it, a lie the second time, a lie the third time, a lie the 4th time. I don't know if that was 4 or 5 times. Why would they have to lie to make their point? It's almost like if they would tell the truth, their viewers would say, hey, this, not only is this not funny, I mean, it's the CBC court, it's not funny, but have you guys actually been sent instructions to lie? You haven't gone out to the farm. You haven't showed any interest in the facts. You haven't talked to the farmers. 4 or 5 times now, and it's only been 1 minute and 17 seconds. Why are you lying again and again? And why is it so important for the Mark Carney's CBC state broadcaster and its government comedians? Why is it so important that they drum into your mind that there is a flu risk here? Why are they so obsessed with it? Keep playing. Go ahead.
Says that since the outbreak began, some 70 ostriches have died. And didn't another ostrich die just last week?
Well, we still have 399 healthy ostriches. That's 398 birds who have nothing wrong with them.
Stop.
There's 3...
Again, so is that time number 5 or time number 6 where they're implying that the flu outbreak is current, is recent, as opposed to last year? But did you hear he said that one of the birds died? I just told you about that. The bird died because of the government. And I was there when a bird died, and I think it was the same bird that the government spooked, because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And the government would not let the farmer in any way console or treat the animal as it died. And these wicked liars have just presented it as if they have died from the avian flu. Isn't that how it comes across? Play a little bit more.
397 birds with a right to live, and if the government has their way, there won't be 396 birds left. They want to kill all 395 birds. Well, I plan to save all 394 of them.
Stop. You get it? Do you get it? The birds are dying from avian flu one after the other so quickly. Do you see the joke, guys? Let me explain to you why it's funny, because no one's laughing other than the laugh track. It's funny because they're literally dropping every second. They're so sick. This flu outbreak is so bad. And you know it's so bad because we've told you 6 or 7 times now that it's happening now. So wouldn't you agree with us and our masters that we have to kill these birds because they're dying anyways, and I'm just an oaf from the West who doesn't know any better? And my bird hates me, I hate the birds, my bird keeps attacking me, and they're all sick, so we have to kill them. You cannot watch this without believing or coming away with the misinformation, or I say it's disinformation, that these birds are a danger. Now, I don't think that Mark Critch is that stupid. I do believe he's that much of a partisan whore. Keep playing.
Bessie! Bessie, girl, talk to me! Mouth to beak!
Is she?
Bessie! Ah!
Do you hear the laugh track?
Case.
Hey guys, you heard the laugh track. That means it's time to laugh. I put it to you, you know what we should do? We've done this before with 22 minutes. I don't know if you've ever done this, Efron. It takes a little bit of effort, but to go through and to do your best to mute the laugh track. Have you ever done that before? You know, it's... I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm guessing most people don't either. They just watch things on demand. But what was that show about the super smart college people who were all like super smart PhDs living together or something? Anyways, it was... I'd never watched that show in my life, but then I stumbled across a YouTube channel that had clips and clips and clips of that show with the laugh track muted. Like they just went in and, I don't know, I'm not a video editor, they cut out the laugh track. In fact, can you find that? I want to show, and I think we should, what's that? The Big Bang Theory, thanks, I'm sorry. I should know that, but it's not that great a show, but for some reason it lived on. Can you type Big Bang Theory, no laugh track? Can you call up a clip? I want to show people. And we actually did that for this hour's 22 minutes. Maybe it was back in the Sun News Network days. But we got, you know, they've got this, I don't know if she's on it anymore, but Marg Delahunty, when she went after Rob Ford, not Doug Ford, we cut the laugh track out to show just how awful it was. Yeah, give me this Big Bang Theory without the laugh track. Just give me 60 seconds of it. Go ahead.
Nothing makes beer taste better than cool, clear Rocky Mountain spring water. Where are the Rocky Mountains anyway?
Philadelphia.
Really? I thought they were out west someplace.
Think about it, Raj. Where did the movie Rocky take place?
Philadelphia. Okay, now I get it.
So this is the plan? From now on, we're just gonna hide out in here to avoid the shamey?
I'm very comfortable here. Penny dear, why don't you shoot another silver bullet my way?
Get one yourself.
Ooh, somebody's been taking bitchy pills.
God, he's an ass when he drinks.
Well, he's an ass when he doesn't. You just don't hear it.
I think we need to start entertaining the possibility that the shamey could go on for years.
Well, if that's the case, Penny will have to get satellite TV and maybe once a week want to vacuum through this place.
Okay, pause it. I mean, I think this is a fairly good example. That just is not funny. I mean, did you find any of that funny? I mean, the needle is not moving, but you know, and you can feel it where the laugh track was taken out. In fact, there was a couple of parts where you could just hear a second of it. That would have had probably about 10 different, like every single comment would have had a ha 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 in the background, right? To coach you. This is funny. You're watching a comedy. This was a joke. Other people are laughing. This is what we think is comedy. Don't be left out. You should conform, laugh along too. And they managed to take that. That's just, and I'm not picking on Big Bang Theory. They're all like, I mean, there are some genuinely funny shows on TV. I'm not saying they're all unfunny, but some of these folks who take out the laugh track from shows like Big Bang Theory, they know exactly what they're doing. These are extremely unfunny shows. In fact, we should do that. Let's do that on this ostrich sketch. I'd like to come back, Efron, and it's not urgent, but maybe sometime for next week. Let's show it without the laugh track. And you will not even have a smirk. You will not even have a, you won't even say, huh. You won't have a courtesy laugh. You know, sometimes someone says a joke and you go, huh. You won't even do that, let alone the, yeah! No, it's all liberal bureaucrats saying, okay, Mark Critch, you did a good job. Yeah, this'll sock it to those ostrich supporters. The opposite has happened, of course. And for the same reason it did during the truckers. And you know what reason that is. Because citizen journalists rule the day. I remember when the truckers were converging on Ottawa, and I went down there for the first weekend. I was only down there for 2.5 days. 2 days, whatever. And I got there and I was amazed that this is a festival feeling. This is amazing. This is the most, it felt a little bit like I was at Woodstock or something. Strangers became friends. People were generous. There was this togetherness. It was an amazing feeling that I really have not had at a public event in my life. I actually think that the group harmony, unity of purpose, solidarity, friendship, patriotism, during that time, I actually don't think I've ever experienced it. I mean, I've had wonderful personal experiences in my life, but in terms of a public community feeling, I think the trucker convoy was the most unusual and most beatific of my life. Just saying. And I went there, and Rebel News was there big time, and you could see what the official narrative was. Can you find that CBC reporter who said it was Putin? I forget her name. She had an unusual name. Just CBC trucker Putin. I don't know what. Nilly Coxell or something, I think was her name. Yeah, that's her. That's her. She was later promoted, by the way.
I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
How much vitriol do we have to see of Hong Kong, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler?
I feel some paternity getting her out. As you may know, we ran a campaign against her. What a delight. Did you see how Nilly Coxell, that was at CBC? There is concern that Russian actors, there is concern. Anonymous, passive tense, not this person has proof or this person has made the accusation, just there is concern that this is all Russian. There is concern. Who's concerned? Are you concerned? Where did the concern come from? Did you just make it up? Is this what you do when you have an opinion and you want to launder it through the neutral language of there is concern, because actually no one sane is concerned? You just made that up because, like Mark Critch and the other guy, you, Trent, you are just a government journalist, the same way they're government comedians. So my point about the truckers is that you had this wall of liars, the mainstream media, who were handed the script by the government, which was demonize, denigrate, denormalize, disparage, defame, detract, debunk. That's what their assignment was towards the truckers. And they would have won if it were 1995, if it were pre-cell phone, pre-social media, they would have won. But it was 2022, and so ordinary people, including our reporters, just took out their cell phones, pointed it at the action, and live streamed. And as you know, Rebel News had 400 million views. 400 million views and impressions during the month of February 2022. And so people went around, the morons, saying, oh, some people say the Russians are behind it. Who are those some people? So we showed the truth of it. My point is, by analogy, that's what's happening with the ostriches. You have one or two regime journalists going down there, typically to lie. Hey, could we get Sid's video about the global cameraman? And sometimes physically shove. Like there's this crazy global news videographer, I forget his name, who's down there. So there are some regime journalists. They hide their identity because they know they'll be run out of there. Here's our reporter, Sid Fizzard, who was down there the other day. This is a weird little piece. How long is it? Do we have time to play it?
14 minutes. When he gets to the point of it, in about a couple minutes.
Okay, don't play all 14 minutes, but give me 2 minutes.
Sid Fizzard for Rebel News. I was recently actually assaulted by a global news cameraman. Of all people, a cameraman is the one who decided to assault me while I was holding a camera. So we're going to get into this. This is a weird story that happened while I was there at the Universal Ostrich Farms, helping my coworker Drea Humphrey report on the cull that the Canadian government has planned for these animals that are otherwise healthy. It's a crazy story. There's no reason that the government should try and murder these birds, but we're here to talk about the incident that happened between a global news reporter and myself. So we're going to do a quick recap here, and then you're going to see just how delusional and antagonistic this global news cameraman is. And the point being here, if you're going to be somebody who works in the public, you're going to be somebody who tries to seek interviews, you're going to be somebody who has to deal with other people in a crowd, there's no justification for you to be as hostile as this mainstream media global news cameraman. And hopefully, global news takes this seriously and addresses the matter with this individual. So in the first incident, I had no idea what was going on. I approached as I saw him, this camera guy, and a few of the female protesters having an argument amongst themselves. Here's that footage.
Be respectful of me.
Yeah, well, I said to you, I don't want to be filmed, and you stuffed that right in my face.
And I will do that to anyone who threatens me.
I did not threaten you.
You did not say
I said I
you
did not want that in my face, and you stuck it in my face. And
You
you said
were
to me,
threatening.
and I've got it on camera.
Get out. Nobody wants you. You're not welcome here. Fake news.
I never
That's
said
what
that.
you say. What those people did was create a scene and make things more difficult. So, I mean, who's this guy?
I don't know.
Yeah. Who are you with?
Neutral observer right now.
No, you're not a neutral observer. Who are you with? Do you have a blog or something?
Is there a reason you're confronting me?
I'm not confronting you.
I'm just a neutral observer.
You, are you independent
I'm with
media?
Rebel News.
What's that?
With Rebel News.
Sorry?
Anyways, we don't need to watch more of it, but it goes on for 14 minutes. That weird global guy is so pushy and rude and passive aggressive. Just he hates the ostrich protest. They hate him back. But you see the tents, like it's a real festival feeling, that real pouty guy. He's fighting with everybody, including our own reporter. Anyways, yeah, the truth is going to get out. It's going to get out through people like Chris Dacey, and it's going to get out through people like our own Drea Humphrey, who I call Queen of the Ostriches, because she's like the mayor out there. Like everyone knows her and loves her, and she's breaking all sorts of news all the time. And the truth is getting out. That is why the government comedians at the Mark Carney State Broadcaster were sent to attack. And how many times did they lie about the birds having flu? Was it 6 times? 6 times they lied. That's not by accident. You don't say this in a pre-written script. That little sketch there was not ad hoc. That was obviously scripted, and they had a bit of a set, and they had the hay in the background. So every word of that was written and edited and reviewed. In a 2-minute sketch, you don't tell the same lie 6 times by accident. That was the whole point of the sketch, was to plant the seed that these birds are dangerous, that the farmer was stupid, hostile to the birds, and the birds were hostile to him. And mainly that the birds are dying and we have to protect ourselves. 6 times they lied. But you know what? Look at the people fight back. I mean, just put that tweet up we don't need the image, but just the text of Drea tweeted this yesterday, I think. And how many, and she rebutted, how many views did Drea's tweet get? Because I can assure you, it was more than the number of people who watch the government comedians. 250,000, eh? I don't think This Hour's 22 Minutes has had 250,000 viewers in a decade. It's astonishing to me that Canada's population grows every year, and yet the CBC's viewership falls every year. How is that even mathematically possible? It's true. So just Drea's one tweet on this subject, absolutely debunking their lies. Can you pump it up so I can read her tweet? There we go. Thank you. Ostrich Farm CBC propaganda. What are we, Beijing now? Government-funded media runs a skit packed with red herrings and malicious framing to turn public support away from the farmer's plight. They know the bird that died, Spirit, wasn't sick. She was injured and then neglected by the state. They know that even if the farmer's count was off, the CFIA's own initial flock estimate is still 300 to 330 birds. Yet they refuse to mock the state for its anti-science plan to cull hundreds of antibody research ostriches that had the flu nearly 10 months ago. This should show you how deep this fight really is. Background, SaveTheOstriches.com, 274,000 views. And do you know how to click on Twitter so you can see quote tweets? Do you know how to do that? Yeah, so scroll down, and sometimes it's easier to do. Maybe it's a different app or something. Anyways, a ton of people, including myself, have taken Drea's tweet and then reacted to it in what's called a quote tweet or quote post. And I'm going to estimate that the reactions to Drea are in the millions. My point is my point earlier about the truckers. The government has a narrative. Just like the government sent out that wicked liar, Neely Coxell, to say, some people say Vladimir Putin's behind this. Yeah, you just said it, you moron. She got promoted after that, swear to God. Some people say the birds have flu. Yeah, those some people are yeah, there you go. Show that. Yeah, I don't know how you found it, but you did. So look at this. So look at all these people who have taken Drea's and then reposted it. Just every single Leslie Ann Stoffel. Yeah, just scroll. Just scroll for a minute. I don't know all these people. Everyone's got a comment they're adding to it. There's Ryan Garrettson. I don't need to show you all of them, but you can see there's a ton of people. Like, this has truly gone viral. Hey, I got a question for you. When was the last time that This Hour at 22 Minutes went viral for a funny joke? Or is it like Big Bang Theory where there just ain't no funny jokes when you take the laugh track out? Hey, I got a question for you. So we're talking about immunity. We're talking about natural immunity. We're talking about the alternative to mRNA vaccine. That's why I think they want to kill these birds. Let me tell you a little bit about our sponsor today. I'm going to read from the news that they've given us. Does your immune system feel compromised ever since COVID? A new study published in the Journal of Clinical Laboratory Analysis suggests you may not be in the clear even if you feel fine. Researchers analyzed blood from people who had recovered from COVID and found something concerning. Their platelets, which are essential for healthy blood clotting, were not functioning properly even months after recovery. Other studies have found lingering spike proteins in the bloodstream and organs, causing immune system dysfunction and even mitochondrial damage, whether from the virus or mRNA shots. This is why Dr. Peter McCullough developed Ultimate Spike Detox. This doctor-formulated blend includes nattokinase to help break down spike protein, bromelain to support immune health, and turmeric with black pepper to reduce inflammation and repair cells. Take back control of your health today and head to twc.health/rebel and use code REBEL to get 10% off plus free shipping. So that's TWC, the wellness company, twc.health/rebel, and type in the word rebel as the code to get 10% off. It's time to own your health. So that's our sponsor, a very fitting sponsor for today's show. Hey, we don't have a lot more time, but I would like to play this crazy big fish story. This just absolute made up. I couldn't believe it when I was watching it. Listen to, and I can't help but say, Dean Skorayko has a nickname for Doug Ford, and whenever I see Doug Ford, I can't help myself. You know what Dean Skorayko calls Doug Ford? He calls him Fat Trudeau. And that's not a particularly elegant nickname, but I can't stop thinking. When I look at him, I think Fat Trudeau. The master of nicknames, of course, is Donald Trump. And he's just got this knack of making. Anyway, Dean Skorayko says Fat Trudeau. Let's listen to Fat Trudeau. And I just have a question for you. I'm not going to call this an IQ test. I'm going to call this are you skeptical enough of politicians test. Listen to this story. It's about 2 minutes long. And you tell me, is there even a drop, even a speck, a mite, a mote, a tidbit, a jot, an iota? Is there any truth in this? Or is Fat Trudeau just lying again? Take a look.
I escape from my detail at 8 o'clock in the morning before they come, and it ticks them off. So I hop in my pickup, and I want to go to Home Depot. It was on a Saturday, and I pull up, and I wanted to get some plants. Actually, it was the weekend before the Prime Minister came. I wanted to get plants for the cottage, so I loaded up, and I pulled up right by the nursery. I think majority have been to Home Depot, so I pull right up, I load up all the plants, and I'm ready to pull out, and here's this guy with a backpack and a bag, and he's walking out, and the store manager's yelling at him, come back, and the security guard's there, and I said, well, go get him. We aren't allowed to go get him. And so he went around the side of where all the plants and outside the parking lot. So I was in my car, I said, screw this, I'm going after this guy. So by this time, my heart's beating, I'm ticked off. So I go racing behind, no one can see, and I pull up behind him and jump into the car. I said, buddy, what's in your bag? Nothing's in my bag. I said, buddy, I'm gonna kick your ass all over the parking lot. Show me what's in your bag. And I did, I couldn't help myself. And so I said, buddy, come over here. And nothing's in my bag. And so we start, now by this time, the store manager comes, and he's on fire. He's cursing and swearing. I guess I threw in a couple colorful language too. And so he's emptying out his bag. And all of a sudden, so he's saying, nothing's here. I said, how about your other bag? It's because he dropped it and heard a cling. And so he went in there and he pulled out one of those saw blades that you open up. Yeah. And you can use it as a saw blade. And the store manager said, that's what he stole. And then, we start saying da-da-da-da to the guy. And then I said, keep emptying out the bag. He pulls out some cutters, tin snips. And by this time, I'm in a pretty rage. I'm just in a full out rage on this guy. And I said, buddy, you stole those too? And he goes, I swear to God, I didn't steal them. He said, look at the rust on them. I looked at them, they were rusty. I said, okay, those are yours, but the rest? And then I went on to tell him if I ever see him in the parking lot, he's going to get a beating like he's never got before.
Okay, IQ test, skepticism test. Are you a grown-up who can be allowed out of your house without adult supervision test? Do you think that happened? Do you think he escaped from his security at 8 a.m.? Do you think that happened? Do you think he just went on down to Home Depot? Do you think he accosted a shoplifter, stopped him, threatened him, went through his stuff like that? Do you believe that happened? Do you actually believe that happened? If so, if you believe that happened, My guess is you're still wearing 2 masks. My guess is you think that the ostriches are sick. My guess is you think that Vladimir Putin arranged the truckers. But if you're watching a Rebel News podcast, you're probably not that gullible that you would believe anything Fat Trudeau has to say. And I say that as a fellow fat man. We have a couple of super chats. Wild Freedom 7 says, she is the next party in Alberta. Now, I didn't see what you were referring to, so I don't know what you mean. And I'm sorry, but thank you for the super chat. Silverfeet chips in $5 and says, Day 13, where's the link for the crowdfunding for the satellite monitoring of the entire farm? And get the night vision heat radar option as well. What will they do? Put a ban on satellites? That's a very interesting idea. I don't know enough about satellites, and can you commission them or position them? Because, of course, there are some spy satellites that are run by the military. There may be some commercial satellites. I don't know anything about that world, and I would think that maybe some of them have to be repositioned because this ostrich farm is in the middle of the countryside, so it's not near a big city like Vancouver or even a smaller city like Kelowna. So I don't know if what you're talking about is possible. Now, it may be possible to do something like get a helicopter, which Sheila and Drea did early on in an earlier visit. Like I say, there's a no-fly zone overhead, but I think that it only goes up to a certain number of feet. So it may be possible that a Rebel News Air Force could be deployed again. I'll have to look into that. But without taking further steps to inquire, I would guess that getting an actual spy satellite is impossible to do for a private agency. That's just a guess I have. I don't think you can commandeer those. I have no experience in that world. Anyways, it's 2:00 on the nose. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks to Efron for working the control room. Thanks for our super chatters and everyone who participated. And for those who are going to our Happy Birthday Rebel party tonight, I'll see you tonight. On behalf of all of us here at Rebel World Headquarters, to you at home, goodbye, and keep fighting for freedom.